Blah blah oh. Blah blah oh. Bonjour, mon vieux public, and welcome to another Pop Talk. I'm your host, Cody MacDonald, and hi, Lyle Groniger. How are you?
Half alive.
Oh, it's early. I'm sorry.
It's a little early.
It's
That's
our.
okay.
This podcast has become our second job.
That would imply that we were getting a steady income and a flow of like growth in our channel.
You know what?
It's all fun.
We may not be getting paid as much as our regular jobs, but hey, this is still fun.
It's more fun than a regular job.
It absolutely. I look forward to this all the time, actually.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about today?
Well, we talk about a lot of movies. I don't know if you know about that.
It's not like I edit every episode of So to Speak. But yeah, you're right.
We talk about a lot of films. We talk about a lot of like favorite, movies from our childhood or Hollywood movies. But here's one thing that we failed to talk about on our program: the world cinema, the foreign language films.
I mean, there's stuff outside of Hollywood.
There is.
There's things that are made like before the 1980s.
In fact, I kind of believe that world cinema, foreign films are better than Hollywood because they feel a little bit more original and more like passionate and creative in their choices. They're not formulaic.
I'm liable to agree. Yes.
Like to a certain extent, it kind of feels like here's an analogy. Foreign films are like novels when Hollywood is like a stuffy magazine you get at the counter at the grocery store.
Well, not everyone.
The tabloids. Yeah. Not every single one. I don't want to be a Hollywood basher, of course. It just they do come out of it's a system, right?
Yeah, I mean, not everything's good, but there's a few cracks that come out.
Exactly. Really some slip through the cracks, justifies its existence of being a special place, but
not everything's a product.
Not everything is a product. Exactly. So, this is going to be a crazy podcast of a bunch of name drops, and we're just going to be going back and forth. Kind of similar to how Troy and I did that one pop talk of us just kind of going, have you seen this? Have you heard of this? Have you seen that? Like, let's just kind of keep it in the style of that, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Which one do you got?
Okay, so now are we going by country or...
We can if you want.
I spent the last 15 minutes organizing my list by country. So.
Sure, where do you want to start? We're globe-trotting, so here we go. Where are we going?
My first destination is Japan.
Okay.
And you want to know a movie that came out of Japan? Dun, 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 dun. Gojira.
Yes.
Or as in Austin Powers, it's Godzilla. Actually, it's not. Due to a trademark dispute,
international
copyright laws by Toho International, it is not Godzilla. Still, we should believe and yell at it like it is Godzilla.
No, it isn't.
No, it's not. How many Godzilla films have you actually seen?
I've seen that one from 1954.
The 54 one.
I've seen the Roland Emmerich 1998 one.
That's the American one.
And I've seen the 2014 one. So, to answer your question, no, I haven't seen a lot of Toho monster films.
I haven't seen the Kinji run.
I wanted to watch like Godzilla 2000 and Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, I hear good things about Shin Godzilla. Yeah, I've seen Godzilla. I've seen Godzilla versus King Kong, not the new one, but the super old cheesy one.
Old one, yeah.
I would love to Criterion has this lovely, sexy set that has like all the Toho original Godzilla runs, like before the 80s, and I mean, I imagine they're not all good, but it'd be fun to watch. The one I really want to see the most would be like Destroy All Monsters, where you just have like every single monster from like the entire every movie previously just fighting each other and kicking King Ghidorah in the ass.
I haven't seen it, but I know that as Toho wanted to respond to the 1998 Godzilla, they have him make a cameo and he just gets annihilated with like one swoop of Godzilla's tail.
Yeah, and one blast of atomic fire.
And don't they say like and there's some classroom they're teaching about Godzilla, and they say, "What, didn't the Americans get attacked by Godzilla?" And then someone goes, "Yeah, they think it was Godzilla, but it actually wasn't.
It was Zilla.
It's
not even canon.
That's pretty bad. Well, I mean, you get Roland Emmerich, who's like, "I never liked Godzilla, but I'll make it."
It's so funny. the evolution of this series, because the first movie is actually incredibly thought-provoking.
Yeah.
The way how it's sort of like a response to atomic weaponry.
Exactly.
And all that. I mean, that's been said constantly, but I just think...
It had the theme of the time of, like, we created the monster. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's the... Look what devastation and, like... the atomic bomb leaves behind.
There's a lot of drama in this movie, as well as some, like, pulpy thrills with a giant guy in a rubber suit. But, like, there's that scene in the church where everyone's kind of, like, singing hymns for those who've been killed by the monster. Mm-hmm. And so it's stuff you don't often see in monster movies.
Yeah.
Now, of course, like, the rest of the series, it transforms Godzilla from being just, like, a villainous, like, creature of havoc to being more of a savior of the Earth. But I would love to just sit down and get that set and just watch every single one of these movies. Because I know James Rolfe did like an entire Cinemassacre about Godzilla. And I enjoyed like hearing all the crazy shit that goes on in this series. You know, he fights like a giant pile of garbage at one point.
Really?
There's like so much pollution in Japan that there's a creature that morphs into like a giant corrosive pile of garbage, and Godzilla has to kick into space or whatever.
I know there's like a robotic Godzilla.
Mechagodzilla.
Mechagodzilla, yeah.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah. Oh, I always loved Gigan. He was the one with the blades on his hands. And he had like the Cyclops visor, and he could shoot energy beams out of it. It's like a giant Cyclops chicken.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I don't want to talk about Godzilla any more than I have to, because I know we have a lot to cover in this podcast. But that's definitely the first thing that most people think of when they think of Japanese cinema.
If you do want to cover all of Godzilla, I recommend bringing on Hunter, because he's seen every single fucking Godzilla movie out there. Ooh. He's the biggest Godzilla fan I've ever met, actually.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just as a note.
Yeah, and if we're continuing on in my list for Japan, we also have to talk about one of the finest films ever made by one of the greatest directors ever... not ever made, but, to ever exist. Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai.
Oh, this is a great one.
Oh, my God.
I'm so happy you chose this one.
It's 207 minutes, and I just don't feel the length.
Not at all.
No.
There's one week that I remember I spent watching it in chunks just because I was filming a project at the time in high school.
It actually works better that way, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
You can watch, because I remember I had the disc, and it's like, oh, this is pretty short. It's only an hour or so, and then you flip it over. It's split into sections. Like, you meet every member of the band of samurai who are there to kind of like protect
the fortress, right?
Not a fortress, just a village that's under siege by like invaders.
It's been years since I've seen it, but I'm trying to remember.
Cody, have you ever seen A Bug's Life?
Yes.
It's basically the same.
Well, I was gonna say Seven Samurai. You can definitely watch it, and you can tell George Lucas was heavily inspired by the work of Akira Kurosawa.
Well, yeah, if you watch Hidden Fortress, the opening sequence is literally R2-D2 and C-3PO on the desert, just like, no, I won't go that way.
Right.
Yep. But
well, samurai, Jedi, like it's definitely
it's like
parallels.
Poetry. It literally rhymes. But yeah, no, it's funny about Seven Samurai is like it's weird my chronology with watching this story play out, because it's been done many times in cinema. I watched Bug's Life when I was a kid, obviously. And then I saw Antoine Fuqua's remake of Magnificent Seven, which is the American interpretation of Seven Samurai.
That's right.
And then I saw Seven Samurai, and I was like, oh, this is the best version, honestly. And then I tried watching the old version of the Magnificent Seven. I'm like, I can't anymore. I've seen this story play out so much. I know what's going to happen already. One standout, there's a lot of good characters in this film, but one standout for me would definitely have to be Toshiro Mifune's Kikuchiyo.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like the outcast of the group. He's not an actual samurai, but he wants to be. But none of the other samurai take him seriously. They're like, no, get out of here. You don't belong with us. But he just constantly tags along with him.
Yeah.
And he has like one of the most powerful character arcs where like by the end of the movie he like shows his colors, and he's like truly one of the most ferocious samurai they've ever seen. And his loyalty is unmatched, as well as his resourcefulness. I often make this joke, like, in 1954, if I saw a movie with Toshiro Mifune and, like, I don't know, like Marlon Brando just sitting in a bar getting drunk, that would be pure cinema. Undeniably.
It's been 10 years since I've seen it. It deserves a rewatch. I can't It's one of my picks that I put on my list too, but I just can't really say much because I don't remember too much.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen it too. But I remember I was in film school and a buddy of mine was constantly talking about like, Lyle, you seen The Warriors? Lyle, you seen Seven Samurai? I'm like, no, I haven't seen Seven Samurai. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Just put it on.
Yeah.
Just have an afternoon and take a watch.
I remember the drumming at the beginning, like the score of the movie is really like just it gets you like there's like this tension that's always growing.
Yeah, it's very good. Very good film. I want to watch it again for sure. And Hidden Fortress, I haven't seen that in a long time. I saw it in film school once, and I'm like, okay, it's pretty good. I like the two rascals that would later inspire R2-D2 and C-3PO. It's like they have no reason to be there, but you see their journey for this princess who's trying to get back to her fortress, I believe.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on this. It's been a long time, but it's just like you see this misfit motley crew of people who have no reason to be at allegiance with each other, but it's fun.
Yeah,
and you feel a lot for the characters.
Totally.
Another one that's not moving on from Akira Kurosawa because those are the only two I've seen so far. Have you seen Hausu?
Hausu.
Yeah, House.
House.
1977.
No, actually.
You want to see how weird Japanese cinema is? I recommend House.
House, okay.
You've definitely seen this poster.
Oh, I've seen
before.
that, yeah.
You've seen the poster with the orange cat.
Yep.
This is a horror film.
1977?
1977, yeah.
Okay.
The same year as Star Wars, Eraserhead, like a whole bunch of awesome movies. But like Hausu is really one of a kind. It's a group of teenage girls who go visit a family member, and the family member lives in his house that's, I guess I could say haunted? I can't really go much further in the plot because it's not a very strong plot. It's really just an example of really creative visual effects that were far beyond their time, to be honest. Like, you see a lot of green screen, and you see a lot of, like, superimposed work, and a lot of, like, wires and stuff. Like, it's beyond anything I've seen, and it's unlike anything I've seen. I wouldn't say I love it as a film, but it's definitely one of a kind. I would recommend you see it at least once.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of film weirdos love this movie. I'm sure James Gunn, it's on his top 10 or something, because it's just so different.
I've seen House when I'm just perusing through Letterboxd because of the poster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Sure, for sure.
And I guess my last film... Oh, wait, sorry, I have two more from Japan. Do you want to talk about any movies from Japan that are on your list?
I got a subject that's related to Japan, actually.
Okay.
It's a great subject, but I'll let you finish up.
I have two more.
Yeah.
I talked about this one on my the Underrated Movies podcast, but I really love Survive Style 5.
That was funny.
That was that is a movie that I'm surprised not a lot of people talk about
What's the song that gets stuck in your head? Like, gone, baby,
come,
baby.
Yeah,
come.
every time the one
stuck in my head now.
The male thief that hits on the other male thief.
Yeah.
It's like, come, baby, come, baby. I just think it was awful teeth. And then you have, I can't forget the random appearance of Vinnie Jones.
Yep.
As a hitman who just comes up to people like, what is your function in life?
I like the segment with the really beautiful, elegant house.
Oh yeah, the house in the middle of nowhere in the woods, and you have the man who has the wife who just can't die.
Yeah, there's like a huge fight in it.
Every time he kills her, she comes back pissed off more than the last time, and she tries to kill him. Oh, that was a really sweet payoff.
That was fun.
Or the dad who gets hypnotized into a chicken, and because the hypnotist got assassinated, he's just stuck being a bird.
Which I pointed out reminded me of an old In Living Color sketch.
Remind me of The Simpsons. I'm just a little boy enjoying my summer.
No, that was quite the gem. I remember we all watched that. It was good.
I'm glad you all enjoyed it too.
Mm-hmm.
I like spreading movies that I love onto other people, and if they connect with it the same way, it's a beautiful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I got one more.
Yeah.
I remember Red Letter Media actually recommended this one. It's called One Cut of the Dead.
Yes, this is really good.
Yeah, it's
and for everybody out there, watch this film without knowing anything about it.
That's what everyone says.
You have to go into this completely cold in order to get the impact.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Don't go into it too much though, just because it's oh man, it's quite a gem. I've never seen anything like this one.
If you like cinematography, you like studying like shot compositions and how people can do one take action sequences, and the amount of effort and preparation that goes into it. This is a really fun little experience.
It takes a shift halfway through in a very compelling way.
That's all I can say. Yes, I'm not gonna get more into it, but yes,
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So that's everything for my Japanese list.
Well, I mean, since we're on Japan, we need to of course bring up Studio Ghibli. Yes. Hayao Miyazaki or a few other filmmakers that have done classic work in that category. All incredible animation. So, I mean, I've seen all of Hayao Miyazaki films, but I have like the 3 top favorites that I'll go into. I'll just go.
I feel like I know which one of them is.
I'll go 3, 2, 1 on this one. So number 3 is My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Very adorable little story. It was definitely the one that had the most like simplicity really strong in it, because like you're following like a girl in this like kind of like, you know, vacant, or not vacant, but like really like plain valley of like a home, and then she meets like this lovable like big, you know, friendly monster, and like it's, I don't know, to me it just kind of felt more like in like the realistic world, not the fantasy element. It felt more grounded, and that's what's so great about Hayao Miyazaki, is that he knows how to like churn things on its head, where you start off with like a realistic character, and it's like a Dorothy going into Oz kind of metaphor of like
Alice in Wonderland.
Or Alice in Wonderland, yeah. Oh well, I am leading up to one that is in that category, but you probably know what it is. But number 2 is definitely Princess Mononoke.
Yeah, I hear good things about that one.
That's powerful, really epic story, like great animation. It had an ending that literally, it's in my top 5 favorite endings I've ever seen in any film ever.
Ooh.
I'm not kidding. Like it leads to such a powerful
I kind of want to say that top 5 list now.
Top 3.
Oh, your top 3 favorite endings of all.
Oh! You're talking about my endings.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was just I was saying that as a figure of speech.
But that's a time for another time.
Yeah,
another list.
Number 1 for sure. I mean, it goes without saying, it's a masterpiece. It's perfect animation. It's Spirited Away. No.
No, sorry. I was imitating No Face.
Oh.
You know that.
No, it's like a. Oh my god!
Just kind of like.
This is you want to talk about perfect?
I will not deny this is a perfect film.
Yeah, you want to talk about perfect films, fucking Lyle, and I rarely say that. Like this is legit a fucking animated masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like it is unbelievably good.
Surprisingly, one of their the only film of theirs that got like best animated film.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I can go into it so much, but just like the amount of colors, the amount of creativity, the amount of design. The simple story, the timeless tale of just taking this little girl and going from the ordinary world that she doesn't like to some fantasy world,
just to save her shitty parents.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Hayao Miyazaki films, but they kind of bleed into one sometimes. Like I'm always like, wait, Howl's Moving Castle. I'm like, is that the one where this happens and then ends up that was stuff that happened in Castle in the Sky? Or something like that. Like I kind of mix up a lot of shit.
Too many castles.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that kind of bleeds into one.
I have a question since we both seen this one. What's your favorite part in Spirited Away? Like, what's one part that sticks out to you?
Again, this is a cliche, but it's that train scene.
Oh, of course.
When they're sitting side by side, it's a visual. It's the composition and the visual and the emotion that's happening.
Very, very quiet.
It's quiet. It's totally calm.
It's practically a screensaver. Or
totally.
Something like that. One of my favorite scenes. This isn't. I don't do it because it's like an incredibly deep scene. I just love the part where like a monster comes into the bathhouse and they have to like completely scrub it clean.
Oh yeah.
And there's like a tiny thing in there the whole time.
Yep.
And they had to wash so much gunk out.
There's like that giant old woman with the big mole on her face.
Oh yeah, the witch.
The witch, yeah.
Runs the bathhouse.
Yeah. No, it's I can watch these all day. Like these are great.
I love No Face. He's I love his character design. It's like, oh, he's just a guy with a mask. And it's like, his mouth opens and he just eats everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, do you have any Hayao Miyazaki favorites?
No, actually.
Or Studio Ghibli, I guess.
I don't. I can't say I've seen too many. I remember Veronica was like, Lyle, let's watch all Studio Ghibli. and then Friends got in the way because I'm marathoning that too.
Oh, that's okay.
Which one is better? But yeah,
I didn't know she was a fan of that.
Oh, she loves anime.
Oh, great,
Actually. She's a
great.
huge
Yeah,
anime
mine too. Actually,
enthusiast.
yeah. Veronica as well.
I guess I didn't pick any anime for this list.
I got one, the one that you recommended to me.
Nice.
It's Battlefield Earth, but done right. Fantastic Planet.
Oh, that's a French film.
Yeah. Why don't we move on to French? We'll start off with that. That's
Okay,
a great segue.
okay,
Yeah,
sure.
Fantastic Planet. You're right. You're right, dude. This is it's so like it's a great story, and yeah, you're right. Like it is Battlefield Earth, but done right.
Where you have like a bunch of oppressed humans who are taken over by this alien force.
But it's so intense.
And the alien force has
like,
this really genius idea that how about we give this one human intelligence? And then the human becomes like, empowered by the intelligence, and he causes a rebellion with the humans. And
the opening with just like the person running away,
the
and
woman,
just,
yeah,
I there's just so many visuals. I've seen it once, and it was a couple years ago, but there's still visuals that still resonate with me, and like it's very like adult animation. It's very like gritty and like explicit.
Yeah,
and,
this movie would have scared me as a kid, to be honest.
Oh, it would have terrified me.
The
absolutely.
animation is a little like it reminds me of Terry Gilliam from Monty Python.
That's a great comparison.
It feels
Holy
like
shit.
I don't think it's paper animation, but everything just feels like all the backgrounds and all the ways the characters move. It reminds me of like a skit.
That is unbelievably accurate. Oh my god.
Thank you.
Holy shit. I tried showing the trailer for this to Veronica. I'm like, hey, do you want to watch this weird movie? And she was like, I'm scared. Don't you ever show this to me.
Fantastic Planet.
Yeah, like it's pretty good.
That trailer's horrifying. Like that creature, the bird thing.
Yeah. Oh jeez.
Okay. So do you want to go through? I went through my list first for Japan. Do you want to go through your list first for
French?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen Amour?
No,
Mikhail Haneke.
Mikhail Haneke.
Mikhail
I will
Haneke,
talk
yeah.
about one of his films later. Yes. So.
I mean, you really got to be in the right mood to be watching this movie, and you got to not be fidgety or bored, because this is a very, very slow film, but it's very rewarding in the end. It's a very strong dynamic. It's a very focused dynamic. I'm just imagining like one day, dude, just watch Amour, and then right afterwards, just watch like Transformers 2. And you'd be like, these are two polar opposites of tone and pacing, and just like how your sensory levels can process information.
Well, that's the power of cinema. Cody.
There's no like everything else falls in the middle.
Auteur theory.
Yeah, I mean it's a very like how do I describe it? Like it's very brilliant in its simplicity in terms of its character study, because it is like pretty sad. It's a dynamic between an elderly couple, and can't really remember the details, but I don't want to go into it too much. But
no, we're not here to talk about the plot. We're just here to talk about things we like and things we recommend about it.
Have you seen Portrait of a Lady on Fire?
Not yet. I hear so many people on Letterboxd talk about this one.
It's fucking great, dude. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
What a beautifully shot film. Oh my god. Some of the best cinematography I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
I don't know if this was nominated at all for cinematography. If it isn't, then fuck you, Academy.
Fuck you, Academy. Maybe we should stop using the Academy as a metric for world cinema.
Like, I remember it being very, like familiar. Like, I had seen, like, the story-wise, I've seen a lot of movies that had that type of, like, storyline, but it worked. It was effective in how it was told. And just, like, the performances, even the production values, like, the colors of the costumes popped. It was so strange. Very nicely shot, and then you're kind of sucked into this kind of world. I can't really go into it too much of what it's about, but, I mean, that's one, definitely. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, it's so funny. On Letterboxd, you don't rate out of stars for that movie, you rate the fires.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I like when Letterboxd does that every so often.
We are just like Letterboxd junkies.
I know.
One I borrowed off of you a while back, Haine.
Haine, that's on my list too.
That's like a borderline kind of hangout movie.
In a way,
In some way, it's a crime drama, but it's a hangout movie at points. I felt
these three characters are really strong, and you see them like just go through the chromiest areas of Belgium and all that.
Which is a part, I was trying to remember like where in history. This is like a subject I didn't even know about actually.
Oh, the riots and
The
all
riots
that.
and all that. I didn't know about this.
It's
at
still
all.
kind of going on today.
Yeah.
France is in a lot of turmoil.
I remember looking
always
up a
has
few
been.
facts about it afterwards. I'm like, Jesus, it's still current.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's another one that has great cinematography, great characters,
Great editing.
great editing too.
I love the editing in that film.
Yeah, very like. This was 1995, 94?
95, yeah.
95, yeah. You're born.
The year I was born, yes.
Yeah.
And Vincent Cassel, I just love his performance so much. He
Mhm.
wants to be... He's like one of those guys who... I just seen way too many violent movies, and he wants to be tough. He wants to walk down the streets and not be scared anymore, but it's just like,
Yeah.
the reality is... It's dangerous out there.
It is very dangerous.
And it's directed by the love interest from Amelie.
That's right. So why don't I just go to Amelie and talk about it,
alright.
because it's on both of our lists, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Amelie is delightfully dark.
Oh, yeah?
It is dark. It's wonderful. It's so pretty and beautiful. It's a feel-good movie, but it is also so fucking dark and hilarious. It's its own thing. It deserves all of its praise, Amelie. It's a great character study. I love this fucking movie.
You think it's very dark?
Oh, it's definitely dark comedic.
I find it very whimsical, actually.
It's whimsical, but like the guy that falls off the building scene, or like just the, I don't know, like there is this like dark nature to it. That's what's so brilliant about it.
I mean, if you want dark, I would talk about his other film, but I'll wait until you're done with your points on Amelie.
I just thought it was a great character study. I mean, I kind of like these movies, and you are right. It's definitely whimsical. It's definitely like a feel-good movie, but there's like this little layer of dark in it that's just right.
Well, yeah.
Doesn't overshadow
because
the lightness.
You see, like, the naivete,
Yeah.
for sure, but it's also underlined, like, is she, like, kind of blanketing herself from the world by thinking about all this whimsical stuff? I just remember all the cutaways. Like, remember when she's just looking out in the city, it's like, and then Amelie thought of how many people were having orgasms in the city.
I love that scene.
15.
That was so good. Oh my god.
I like it. I love this movie. Just really highlights things like simple pleasures, like
Yep.
cracking creme brulee, going into a cinema, turning around and seeing all the other people entranced, everything like that. It's wonderful. It makes you appreciate life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Makes you definitely appreciate life. By the end, it's satisfying to see like where her journey goes.
Oh yeah. I've been so enamored by Audrey Tautou ever since.
What was the other one that you said was dark?
Yes, so I am quite fond of the director Jean-Pierre Jeunet, even though he didn't make Alien Resurrection. But we don't talk about that. His other film that I really liked that I watched in film school was called Delicatessen.
Oh, I haven't heard of this actually.
Came out in 1991. It is, you want to talk about dark.
Alright.
This movie is greasy. It's grimy. It's very Gillian-esque.
Oh, nice.
Basically, the idea is it's a post-apocalypse film. So everything's desolate. Nobody can leave. Like basically, the whole film takes place in this boarding, like kind of an apartment, I guess, like this little project, like a 5-story building, and basically everyone who lives there has to offer at least some food, and if not, the owner of the building, who's a butcher, will hunt one of the people in the building and kill them and turn them into meat.
Oh shit.
So it's like if you're not a productive member of this building, you get eaten.
I want to watch this now.
I know, it is so good.
I want to watch this.
If you love Cody, I'm telling you, if you love Amelie, you are gonna love the style of this movie. It's shot beautifully.
It's the same DP.
Maybe I didn't look into that. Hold on, but as I'm saying, yeah, a lot of the actors from this would later be in Amelie as well.
Oh, great.
And the editing again is just tremendous. I love the way it's composed. The only problem is, unlike Amelie, it is very brown. Like, it's not nearly, the colors don't pop as much, which makes sense. It's a post-apocalyptic film. Wow, the cinematographer of this film shot Uncut Gems and Seven. And Amour.
Oh my god. Okay, this has got me sold. This has got me sold.
You gotta watch Delicatessen, dude.
This has got me sold.
Not enough. Everyone talks about Amelie. Not enough people talk about Delicatessen. I'm telling you.
Thank you for the underrated shout out. That is awesome.
Great.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. What else is on your list?
Just one more French.
Okay. I have a few as well. But
yeah, just one more French on my little list. I got Blue is the Warmest Color.
Yes, I haven't seen this one yet.
This is an epic fucking love story, dude. It shows the vast of of meeting your significant other, the honeymoon phase, living together, knowing, like, learning more about your differences. Like, it covers companionship flawlessly. It's a 3-hour epic, and it doesn't even feel its length at all. It's a 3-hour film, and I always say this, and I sell this on people, and this will definitely have your interest. It's a 3-hour film. 15 minutes of the film consists of lesbian sex scenes. So maybe that has your interest.
Well, there's that. I know YMS made a joke because, like, everyone just keeps eating spaghetti.
Well, there is, yeah.
That's like a joke that they make.
That's a joke. What's her name? Leah Seydoux. Leah Seydoux is excellent in the film.
Yeah, that was kind of one of her breakout performances.
I mean, it's gonna be very, like, you're gonna be like, oh my god, it's a roller coaster of emotions, but that's the point of it. Like, that's honestly the point of it. It's a modern age kind of, like, love masterpiece in some ways. Like, like I imagine, like, how people reacted to, like, Casablanca, or, like, stuff around, like, so some movie that represents, like, some era of, like, love
the
and
romanticism of that era.
Exactly. I think Blue is the Warmest Color is by far, it's one of the best.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I raving reviews about this one.
I should take a look at it sometime.
I totally recommend it.
All right, I have a few other films that you mentioned quite a few on my list, but I have a few others. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the pioneer of cinema himself, Georges Méliès.
Yep.
The creator of A Trip to the Moon, as well as several other video projects that he made at the time.
Wow, we are going all the way back.
1902. 1902. Can you believe that cinema is only just slightly 100 years old?
That's crazy.
And the advancements we've made since then.
And the amount of ideas that are completely run to the ground.
When you tell stories for 100 years, you can't blame anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, Georges Méliès, I love him. If you haven't seen the film Hugo by Martin Scorsese, that's a great tribute to his work.
100%, yep.
There's not much to say because the film's only 15 minutes. Just go watch it. It's a very nice experience.
100%, yeah.
All of his films are nice experiences, like to see how primitive and yet how ingeniously resourceful he was.
Visual storytelling and, like, the sets for its time.
The sets, like the costumes, the ideas that were, like, transferred, like, throughout.
Yeah.
Like the way he had to adapt ideas into cinema, it's great. And speaking of films that are very creative and a little bit wacky, we have I'm pretty sure I've shown you this one. Zazie dans le métro by Louis Mal.
Yes.
This movie is amazing.
Bonkers. Oh my god.
Oh man. I can't really get into the plot, but it's basically like this 10-year-old girl comes to visit her uncle, and the only thing she wants to do more than anything on her time in Paris is she wants to take the metro, like the subway system. And she, like, runs off a lot, and the uncle has to keep finding her. And there's, like, a lot of delightful sequences that really highlight the beauty of Paris, as well as, like, maybe a little bit of the not so beautiful things. But I don't know. I found it to be very, very creative and unlike anything I've seen before, in a way that's almost similar to, like, Hausu, the one I mentioned before. Lots of camera tricks. Lots of great direction from Louis Mal. Definitely, if you haven't seen any of his works, I'd highly recommend My Dinner with Andre. That's also a somewhat experimental film too, where you just have two guys talk, almost like a podcast. And I highly recommend Zazie dans le métro. I'm surprised not many people talk about it.
All right.
One of my favorite scenes is just like the uncle.
Uncle chasing the girl around the city.
Oh no, that was the inspector.
Oh, the inspector.
The pervy inspector. And she.
That was so amusingly amazing watching that whole segment.
Yeah.
It went on and on and on. I was like, please keep going. This is so funny. I loved it.
He keeps getting blown up. She takes a massive magnet out at one point and drags him across the street, and he gets bumped by a car or something.
It's a film that really breaks the rules of reality.
It breaks so many rules.
Yeah, it's so... And for its time, too. Like, I was so caught off guard by it.
I know. Every time I show it to people, they're like, what is this? I can't keep my eyes off of it. But no, my favorite scene would have to be when the uncle is, like, he's on the Eiffel Tower. He's having, like, an existential discussion about life and death. And all these women are, like, crowding around him trying to kiss him. He keeps shoving them away. And he's, like, climbing higher and higher up the building until he just grabs a balloon from some guy, No, a polar bear's up there too, I guess. He's just like, life, death, Zazie, life, death, Zazie, and he just jumps and just softly lands on the ground. Like you do.
Like you do.
That's another film I have on my list. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned this one, because I know you're quite into it. What do you think of Climax?
Oh, I really enjoyed Climax. I mean, it's Gaspar Noé. It's his if you've seen movies like Irreversible and Enter the Void, I mean, my God, these are surreal movies that will probably give you a headache from its tone, and you want to take a shower, 5 showers immediately afterwards.
No, I've seen Irreversible. I've seen Climax. I tried watching Enter the Void. I couldn't really get into it at first.
Oh, Enter the Void. That was just... My God, if you would have saw Pat and I, if you would have arrived to our place right after we saw it, you guys would have thought we were like, what the hell happened to you guys? You look exhausted. I'm like,
what happened to you?
We just watched Enter the Void. My God, my sensory overload.
Out of all of them, I'd probably rewatch Climax at least.
Irreversible has a scene in it that I had to look away as an adult. I couldn't watch
underground passage scene.
People, watch with discretion.
I feel kind of bad saying this. I watched that scene at 1.5 speed, and I kind of couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my God.
I feel horrible saying that,
oh
but it's
my
true.
God.
If you can't sit through that scene, just go on 1.5 speed.
Just leave the room or mute it. Oh my God. No, but Climax is the most accessible one, I would assume.
For sure.
I mean, and that's not saying much. It is an extreme movie. I mean, they're all tripping out on LSD when someone spikes the punch bowl.
Unconsensually being spiked with LSD.
Yeah,
and
it's a ride. It's definitely a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't add that. I really, really enjoyed it. I just...
Everybody said it was the best film ever, and I'm kind of
it's an experience.
It's something, I guess.
It's definitely an experience.
Mm-hmm. I'd be remiss. I keep saying that all the time, but I did mention my female directors podcast. I'm quite fond of Julia Ducournau.
Yeah.
So I loved her film Raw, and I like Titane even better.
Yep.
I look forward to what she does next.
Yeah, I can definitely tell it's getting better. I wasn't too big on Raw, but Titane was really a much better improvement.
Yeah, that's fine. I watched Titane, and then I watched David Cronenberg's Crash. I'm these are very similar in a way, kind of. Titane's a little more Lynchian and out there, but for sure, eroticism with cars is a thing, I guess. Oh, here's a film that I'm not sure if you've seen or not. Have you ever heard of Man Bites Dog?
No.
One of the very first found footage films ever made in
before Blair Witch?
1992.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, so this is a faux documentary about a film crew who follows the exploits of a serial killer.
Oh, I remember Jay talking about this in the Blair Witch review on Red Letter Media. Yeah,
you can't really go into Blair Witch without talking about that and Cannibal Holocaust, because those are the predecessors that kind of built up the found footage genre into the sludge that it is today.
I feel like I am desensitized for movies, but I question if I watch Hannibal Holocaust, am I still going to be
Cannibal Holocaust.
Hannibal
Buress Holocaust.
Hannibal Buress. Sorry, Hannibal.
Women be shopping. Women be shopping.
Hannibal Holocaust. I have a feeling I'd be way more sick, and then I realize I'm not desensitized yet.
Well,
I don't know.
If you want to see a turtle get decapitated, be my guest. But in any case, Man Bites Dog, I liked it. It was one of the first French films I ever saw. And it was definitely one that stuck with me. I'd love to revisit it just to see how it plays out. Because the main character, despite being a serial killer, he's very engrossing. He talks about the fundamentals of snapping a person's neck.
Oh.
And he shows, the entire process of how to properly dispose of a body. It's very sick. And you even see the deterioration of the mental state of the film crew, where they become desensitized, like you said, and they even participate in a few of his crimes.
What?
So it's almost like a blend of what is reality, what is documentation, and how far can it go.
So it's the filmmakers get involved in the subjects.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
they get pulled in.
I love that. That happened. Have you ever seen this documentary called The Jinx?
No.
That happens. It's about this guy, Robert Durst. I won't go into it too much, but basically the documentarians behind it get involved on trying to prove that this guy is completely guilty and is just completely lying his way through the whole system, and it gets pretty fascinating. Yeah.
I have a foreign film from Canada.
Sure. Sure.
So of course, like if
Well, in some way across, or somewhere around the world, we're foreign. So yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, as everyone should know, and Canada is a bilingual country, but essentially there's one section of Canada called Quebec that's largely French speaking, and this film's from Quebec. It's called, I saw it at TIFF actually. It's called The Natural Sweetness of Skin, or Les Salopes. It's about this female scientist who's trying to examine the physical changes that go through someone while they're having sex. So she examines like skin particles every time she gets laid. And I will just say this, there's a lot of sex in this movie. Like, it takes up like almost a third of the runtime. So move over, blue is the warmest color. This one's, I can't say it's like a great movie. I'm sure a lot of people will probably be put off by it, but like it was just kind of neat seeing like an older woman go through like all these experiences and like the harm it causes her her family life and her professional life as well, because a lot of them don't like her subjects that she's participating in. So it was neat. I would recommend that one. That's all I have for French.
Why don't we do Spanish or Italian?
Yeah, I'm good for Italian. Yeah, let's do Italian.
All right. Have you seen Cinema Paradiso?
No.
Oh man, this is a wonderful film. This is another kind of epic, long kind of movie, but I find it to be like a great character study at the same time. Like, it's almost 3 hours, maybe even longer. And that's another one that doesn't feel its length. It's about the relationship of a boy who falls in love with like cinema through the lens of being a projectionist.
Okay.
But he befriends with the projectionist of this little cinema, and just trying to watching the movie from his perspective and seeing like what the world can, like how it can do, what happens to adulthood, because this guy has like a struggling business to keep the theater running, and like it's such a beautiful epic story, and it's very gentle in its tone. It's very emotional, and it comes off so epic in its presentation in a really fascinating way, and for its time too. Like, I know that it's in like, probably if you get like 10 film buffs in the same room, I'm sure one of them is like, oh yeah, I've seen it, it's great. It is very well prestige, but just not a lot of people talk about it that much, which I'm surprised about.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
What else do I got here? Wild Tales.
That's not Italian.
Or is it? Is it Spanish?
It's Argentinian.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my bad.
We'll talk about when
Spanish. Argentina is Spanish, I guess. And there. You've seen this, right? Yeah, I recommend this one to you.
Wild Tales. All right, I guess we'll talk about this one yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the movie you recommended to me, and I loved it. It was so nice. So every time you're like, oh, Lyle, you never like anything I recommend. And it's like, oh, no, I loved Wild Tales.
Good.
It was great.
I mean, if you like dark comedies, and if you like,
if you love anthology films.
It's
one of the strongest I've ever seen. Because every time I see an anthology film, it's very rare to see one where the director did every single segment. The only other one I can think of is like Creepshow with George A. Romero, but this one it's like every single tale is about revenge.
Basically, yeah.
Like every single one is so angry and vicious, and like sometimes the stories go into really, really heavy stuff. What's your favorite segment if you had to pick one?
Damn, I didn't want to get into that, 'cause it's hard to choose, but they're all great, but the one that I will say falls short only just because it actually does make me uncomfortable. I get that it's dark, but it's the one...
car chase one?
No, no, I love that one.
Oh, I didn't like that one.
When they're trying to frame the groundskeep.
Oh, yeah, because the son hit a guy.
It hit a pregnant woman.
Hit a pregnant woman, yeah.
And just the way it ends, like how abrupt it is, I find that it kind of like has like this like, oh god, it just ends so like disgustingly, and like
cruel,
where is this going? But then you kind of laugh afterwards in some way. So
now my favorite one of all time is The Bomb.
The Bomb?
Yeah,
oh yeah, Little Bomb.
The demolition.
This is something Walter White would do.
It feels like an episode of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Like, you see this guy, he's just an average person, and he slowly gets so fed up with like the parking system in Argentina, which allegedly is quite terrible. Like, it's very easy to get your car towed in that place.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like a scam. And so he gets so fed up that he takes matters into his own hands. And a scene that I can only describe as absolutely perfect. The music, the way it's edited together to the beat of the song, I revisit that scene at least twice, or at least 5-6 times a year.
It's the visual of the plane.
Da 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 da.
Okay. It's the visual of the plane in the distance.
In that opening scene.
In the opening scene, and just the how it freeze frames exactly at the right moment.
It starts out so innocuously too. It's just this stewardess going to her plane, doing her job, and all of a sudden,
this is oh my god, I fucking adore this movie.
I love that it won an Oscar for best foreign film too. Like, I am so happy for that.
You know what? The Wedding. That's my favorite.
You like The Wedding?
The Wedding's
a fun one.
Is a range of emotions, and it's just so intense, and it's so hilarious. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love that
That's
one.
the funniest one of the bunch. Yeah, for sure.
But they're all, the whole piece is just an excellent experience.
Oh yeah, it's great.
If you're a fan of short films or little, like, you know, like anthology, like you said, like it's totally up anyone's alley.
It's definitely one of the best anthology films I've seen, dude. Thank you for recommending it to me.
Oh, 100%.
Should we continue back to Italian films?
Sure.
Because I have a few on my list. I have at least 4 more.
4? Yeah.
So, have you seen... This is a bit of a tone shift. Have you seen Bicycle Thieves?
Yes, I have. Yep. It's depressing.
I think that is the saddest...
I saw that in film school, actually.
I think that is the saddest film I've ever seen.
Really?
Nobody gets anything out of that by the end. Except each other, I guess. But
that's a great choice, actually.
They don't... The main character just... He started out in such a bad place, and yet somehow he ends up in an even worse place by the end.
You know, a deconstruction of an arc can be an interesting topic. I mean, there will be blood.
That's a good one.
That's another one.
You know, characters like, I didn't do well. Oh, now I'm doing worse.
I broke my boy. What is it? I betrayed my boy. I broke my boy.
I've only seen that movie once.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Well, I've only seen Bicycle Thieves once, too, but, the child actor is so good in it, too.
Yep, I remember that. Yep, that stood out to me.
Or that scene where the father indulges him, and he's like, let's go get the pizza. And he's just like, you know, it's far too expensive for him, and he's spending all his money on this one little basic slice of pizza, but it's, you know, it's joyous. But all the other kids who are, like, come from richer families just kind of look down on them. He's like, stop looking at my boy like that. Here's a question I have for you. Now, it's shot in Italy. It's made by an Italian director, but it is dubbed in English. Does The Good, the Bad, the Ugly count as Italian foreign cinema?
Yeah, we were just talking about this before recording. Yeah, it does count. Yeah, I mean, it was dubbed to get a wider release and a wider...
Oh, it's wide, all right.
Yeah, it is wide. It's considered the best Western of all time. Yes, so, yes. I mean, it is. It might quite possibly be the best Western of all time.
I would say it is.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that track that Ennio Morricone did, The Ecstasy of Gold. I listen to that song so much.
Tuco. Is that his name?
Yeah, Tuco.
Tuco. The ugly.
Yeah, Eli Wallach.
Such a bastard, but he's so great.
He's so lovable. He's like, oh, if you're gonna shoot, don't talk.
Exactly.
So quotable, so great. It's like, you know, there's 2 types of people in this world, my friend. Those who loaded guns and those who dig. You dig.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Blondie, you know what you are.
Blondie, yes.
Nothing but good for nothing rotten.
Oh, the Ela, what's his name? The composer?
Ennio Morricone.
Oh, so great. So iconic. The standoff at the end is just...
with Lee Van Cleef,
The standoff is cinema. That is absolutely cinema.
It is.
That is amazing.
Every single sequence. I gotta rewatch it. I haven't seen it in quite some time.
Me too.
It's in my top 50 favorite movies. I've only seen it once, so I feel like I need to see it again just to verify.
Do you own it, or...?
I think I do, yeah.
Yeah, get it on Blu-ray.
That'd be good. Yeah, because like the way Italian cinema works, if you saw it once upon a time in Hollywood, they explain it. Italian films are made like, it doesn't matter what language you speak, you just say your lines in your native language.
Pretty much, yeah.
So if you're Italian, if you're from Spain, if you're American, you all say yours. It's a Tower of Babel of language, as he described it. And that's exactly right. That's why a lot of actors back in the day didn't like working in Italian films, because most of them are kind of crummy, but not this one.
Nope.
Clint Eastwood, you hit gold.
I haven't seen. I've seen the first and the third of that trilogy.
Oh, I've seen the whole trilogy. It's very good.
For what is it? A Fistful of Dollars. I've seen that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen For a Few Dollars More.
Mm-hmm. And the Good, Bad, the Ugly, the Dollars trilogy.
The Dollars trilogy.
The Man
right.
with No Name.
Right.
I have a question. Do you watch a lot of Fellini?
Refresh me.
Fellini, he did like 8.5. Did La
see?
Strada.
I forget if
La
I
Dolce
did see.
Vita.
I know 8.5. I just can't remember if I've seen it. No, I have not seen it yet.
Okay. I have a movie for you. I tried watching 8.5. I couldn't get into it. It had great visuals for sure, but I don't know. I'll have to try it again sometime. I was a little impatient because I had to do a report on it. I'm like, I don't get anything out of this. But I have a movie for you. It's called Amarcord.
I haven't heard of this.
This is a movie that takes place in a very interesting time. Italy during World War II.
Okay.
So I compare this movie a lot to Jojo Rabbit. You see from the boys' perspective how the war works. They're still young. They're not very absorbed into world issues, and they mostly just think about girls and stuff. So I'm not gonna spoil the movie, but I'm going to say a few highlights just to show you what kind of movie this is. So these teenagers I'm talking about, there's a scene of them sitting in a car jerking off while talking about each woman that they would bang. And one of them even talks about the same woman as another boy. It's like, hey, stop talking about my dream girl. It's like, hey, she's my dream girl. I saw her first. And then there's a boy who fantasizes about marrying his dream girl so that they can be the ideal fascist husband and wife in front of a talking head of flowers that resembles Mussolini.
Oh, wow.
And then there's a scene where they're out in the country and there's a mentally unstable uncle. And he's like, I need a woman. I need a woman. He's perched on top of a tree. And anyone who tries to get him down, he throws a rock at them and hits them with perfect accuracy. And ultimately, the only person who can get him down is this nun who comes up to him and whispers in his ears. And he's like, he climbs down. And he just gets back in the car and they take him to to his house. And then there's there's a scene where the snowball fight near the end of the movie. And it's kind of fun, but it's all broken. It's broken up by a peacock that lands on this snowy fountain. And it's a very visual image. It's very poetic. I can't quite explain what the meaning behind it is, but that was a resonating shot. But my favorite scene was the grandfather of the movie who always argues with everyone. He stumbles out into this deep fog early in the morning. And he starts talking to himself. He's like, am I dead? Is this what happens? Is this really what it is? There's no people out here. There's no trees or birds or wine anywhere. This is what it feels like to die. All I have to say to God is, up yours! It's a very fun, light little movie that does tackle deeper subjects.
Okay.
But, it's nice. I would highly recommend Amarcord.
All right.
Very interesting, the ideas he goes through.
Dude, I got a movie that takes place in World War II in Italy.
Okay.
Life is Beautiful.
Ah, that was my next one.
Yeah,
let's
there we
talk
go.
about it.
That's a good segue.
I saw it very recently.
That's a great movie.
It's very...
That his performance, Roberto
Benigni.
Benigni, is so likable.
Mm-hmm.
So full of light during such a time. It's
he's very scrappy. He's very he's not unaware of the situation. He's very aware, but he's trying his best to kind of shield his son from the horrors of war.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a movie that you can definitely more get into as a World War II film. It's not as bleak or depressing like a few films that I'm going to mention later on that are just the most depressing shit I've ever seen. But we'll get to that. This is way full of life and just it's interesting that I can't believe there's a positive charm that comes out of such a tragic story. But it's sentimentality that works. That's all I'll say.
I would say so, yeah.
I usually don't go for too much of sentimentality when it's just... But for some reason, this one just got it right. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. It's all about perspective. I would now recommend you see Roberto Benigni's Pinocchio.
I heard... Okay, so it's so funny how it's Life is Beautiful gets 100% Rotten Tomatoes or just such glowing amazing stuff, and then his Pinocchio is 1%,
one of the worst things.
One of the worst things ever. How the hell do you go from from that to that?
I do not know.
That is a dip if I've ever heard one.
I also recommend Roberto Benigni. He's in a lot of Jim Jarmusch movies, and he always plays a lively character too.
Oh, is he?
If you want to see more of his works, like Down by Law or Coffee and Cigarettes, like he does a lot of work with him.
I still gotta check out that Coffee and Cigarettes movie.
It's pretty fun. It's interesting. If you like anthology films, it's pretty good. Some interesting casting choices. All right, pick a country. Any country will do.
I got a quick one. Just Mexico.
Yeah, I got a few Mexican films.
All right, so I've talked about this one before. I don't know if you're even too. You're kind of on it, I think. But Roma.
Yeah, I saw Roma. It was it had some interesting shots, compositions. Some pretty heavy moments, like that hospital scene.
Oh, the hospital scene's
That's I did not expect to see something that grisly. The beach scene is very good. The revolution scene was probably my favorite scene of the bunch. The way they could orchestrate all that in one shot.
I think it just the visuals of the film helped me remember the film way more in terms of its events, because I've only seen this movie once, and I thought 2018 as a whole was a pretty fucking weak year in terms of movies. There's the few that came out that were gems, but there's nothing that kind of clicked as like a personal favorite of mine up until the very last minute of that year, and it was Roma. I'm just like, let's just check out this movie on Netflix. Okay, finally, there's a fantastic film this year. Good.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm a really big fan of oh my god, sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Alfonso Cuarón. Sorry. Alfonso Cuarón is a really great filmmaker. There's a film that I've been dying to watch, but I've been saving it to watch with Pat.
E2 Mama También.
E2 Mama También. I've been wanting to watch for the longest time. I want to watch that. That and Amaris Perros.
Yeah. So, no, Mama that one I want to see too.
E2 Mama También.
It looks up my alley.
Yeah. The other
it's like a very sexy movie.
Oh yeah. The other Mexican film that I love is by the great Guillermo del Toro. It's Pan's Labyrinth.
Yes.
Now this is a dark fantasy, adult fantasy. Like it's a textbook definition of how you do an adult dark fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
You still keep it in a child's perspective, but you don't sugarcoat anything.
That's a theme that he does a lot in his films, where he has like a child witnessing, something scary. Like, he kind of taps into that child nightmare, like what scares you as a kid. Like you hear something outside and you want to go inspect it, or being afraid of the dark is like a theme that he always tackles.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I have a feeling that he has a lot of like repressed memories as a child of just being scared about a lot of shit.
Well, he does make movies almost exclusively about monsters. So
yeah,
probably.
Totally. Yeah, this one is a great one.
Why can't he just make like a romance? Oh, he did.
He did. I was about to say he won the fucking Oscar for it.
It was with a fish man.
This Creature of the Black Lagoon remake is very bizarre. Very explicit.
It's better than The Mummy.
Yes, by a long shot.
I have a question, Cody. Have you ever seen anything by Alejandro Jodorowsky? He's a Mexican filmmaker.
Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Yeah. The Holy Mountain.
Yes! Oh my god, dude. Yeah, El Topo and The Holy Mountain. The Holy Mountain I watched once and I loved it, and then the second time I watched it, I was super high. And I loved it even more. Like, it was just... That to me is a gorgeous movie. Like, it is such a deep, fascinating fucking film. I had to buy it on Blu-ray immediately. It was just... I'm surprised I didn't choose that. What the fuck was I thinking? I didn't choose that on my list.
Yeah, that's all right.
God.
No, it's definitely a movie that I didn't get the first time. Like, I definitely was trying to follow along with it. It just kept going, and one minute you're following this Christ figure, and then the next minute he's joining a group of superhero assholes who are all parts of the planet.
The 6 people that, divide the universe into certain ways of greed or war and all that,
and all that.
Yeah, I got that, but it just took a lot to. Like, it definitely deserved a second rewatch.
And then they all go on a little foot trip to another place, try to get to the Holy Mountain.
Yep.
They get there, I guess, or actually they don't even.
He climbs a huge tower and ends up in this room that's all rainbow-esque.
Yeah.
He turns shit to gold.
Did you know that George Harrison was almost cast in this movie?
Yes, I heard about that.
And the only reason he didn't want to be in the movie because there's a scene where he gets his ass cleaned.
Yep.
And he's like, I don't want to to have that be filmed.
I learned that when I was listening to the Sardonicast podcast on this film.
And then the director was like, if I just didn't do that, I could have had a Beatle film, and people probably would have talked about it more. I'm like, don't worry, dude. Everyone talks about this movie.
Yeah.
And nobody ever forgets about it. I think, speaking of Sardonicast, I think it's YMS's favorite film of all time.
It is his favorite, yeah. That or the Synecdoche, New York, I think. That's
spending like 10 years of his life trying to review that movie.
That's a movie where I watched it going, yeah, sure, I got it. Sure. I understood it. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
It's like, I passively go, yep, I understood it. I loved what I watched, but I'm like, I don't want to think about this too hard.
We're all gonna die someday, and that sucks.
My brain will explode if I think about this too much. So, yep, I understood it.
Well,
okay, moving on.
That's Adam's job. He thinks about it so you don't have to. Oh, God. Yeah. What's another country? I have some German films.
I got one German film.
I have 3. So, you can go through those. Obviously, we have the classic silent masterpiece, Metropolis.
Metropolis, this is the one.
Lang.
This is the first masterpiece that I can qualify like as a favorite of mine in cinema.
Yeah.
This holds up so well.
I can't believe there's a silent film that's like 2.5 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. You're like, back in the day, you're like, I'm gonna go see the pictures. You sit in the theater and it's like, oh my God, when's this gonna end? I feel like wars have been fought faster than this.
But the themes of classes.
Oh yeah, hierarchy,
and just this other world underneath. It's just and how they're basically like, they're the ones working the machinery while the others like just completely live off of life.
Yeah.
It holds up. Like it honestly holds up.
Set designs, the props, that robot. Oh my God.
The sets and the extras, like, for its time, Jesus.
How did they make this?
I don't know.
Back in 1927.
It is impressive. It is definitely
It holds
impressive.
up better than most movies today.
100% agree.
Like, I'm gonna watch Metropolis 200 years from now, and then I'm gonna watch some movie with crummy CGI.
Fucking Jesus, what?
I'm trying to think of some.
Eternals.
Sure, yeah, I'm gonna watch Eternals and be bored. But, oh no, I criticized Marvel. Anyways, yeah, Metropolis. Oh, have you seen Run, Lola, Run?
No, but I think I've heard of that one, actually.
Oh, I'm sure you have. It's a movie where it's like 3 separate timelines play off chronologically, and it's like, oh, what if this happened? And she goes, basically like her and her boyfriend are like, oh, we gotta pay off this debt that we have. He lost all this money and he has to pay it off. She only has 20 minutes to get this much money back, or else he's gonna rob a store and something terrible is gonna happen. So it's interesting how it plays out in 3. Like it's kind of like a video game, because like one section, like I don't know, I think he dies and he's like,
shifts gears.
It goes
backtracks.
back in time, and then it plays in a separate parallel reality where it's like, oh no, she dies. Oh, intercut. It's like there's like sequences of them laying in the bed.
Oh, that's neat. Okay.
And it's kind of like Go. Remember Go?
Yeah.
Where it's like it goes back in time and shows another storyline and takes place at the same time.
Okay, so that's up your alley for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I love time films. It's like very interesting how they pull it off. I mean, it's not my favorite. I mean, I'm sure I'd much rather watch something like Groundhog Day. But it was definitely an interesting experience to see this sort of timeline play out. And
the guy that directed
rewarding.
this, he co-directed Cloud Atlas with the Wachowskis.
Great, awesome.
That's all I know.
Can't wait. I shouldn't shine Cloud Atlas. I hear good things about it, but I just know it's like a little chunky.
It's kind of in the middle.
And we were talking about Michael Haneke.
Yep.
Michelle Haneke.
Mikhail Haneke.
Mikhail Haneke. I'm sorry. We're probably butchering.
I butchered his name for the longest time.
Have you seen Funny Games?
I've not seen Funny Games. I know you love it. I know you love this one. Didn't you just invite me to want to see this?
Did I?
Yeah, you recently invited me to go see this in the cinema or something.
Oh no, Funny Pages.
Funny Pages.
Yeah, sorry,
okay,
that's the movie produced by the Safdie brothers.
Right.
Yeah, Funny Games is a film from 1997, and honestly, Cody, I don't know how you're gonna react to this. Like, I have a pretty dark sense of humor, but this movie is like pretty grim. It's really like a home invasion film, and one of the best of its kind.
All right.
And it is surprisingly meta. Like, you want to talk Deadpool? Oh my God, this serial killer kid just like looks at the audience all the time, just asks them like, "You still want to watch me do this to these people? Are you as insane as I am?" Like that kind of thing. It's just like very playful in that regard, but like overall the film is grim in tone and execution. And it's weird because a few years down the line, like literally 10 years later, he remade his own movie, but made it Americanized.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen anyone do that before. Got Naomi Watts now and Tim Roth, and now they're gonna be harassed by these two bastard kids.
I didn't know he remade it too.
Yeah, no, he remade it himself. I don't know what the point was. I'm just gonna see the letterbox. So the first one is a 3.9. Let's see how the other one did.
You know, the people that I follow on Letterboxd, the ones that I've seen the original and the remake, is pretty consistently reviewed as well.
Yeah. Then the remake is a 3.6 as opposed to a 3.9. Wah wah. Oh well.
But the people I follow like it just as much, actually.
I mean, like I've seen clips. I've seen scene by scene comparisons. There's not really that much difference. I mean, I think the new one has a bit more like sheen to it.
Maybe he just wanted to like tell his great story again, but just try to reach wider with it.
I'm sure he probably wanted to reach a wider audience.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't pleased with how the first one turned out. He's like, I could do it better.
Okay.
Like, okay, you do you. I don't know. Certainly interesting, and those are only German films I have. I don't have many Russian films. The only one I have is Stalker.
Can we talk about? I got two.
You
Russian...
have a lot to say about Stalker.
Yeah,
so
I got two Russian films. So yes, Stalker. Have you seen it?
Yep.
Okay, isn't that movie just like it takes you somewhere else? Like the tone, just the atmosphere, and just it feels like I fell asleep during the movie and I was dreaming, but I was like, no, I was watching the dream.
Yeah.
It has this very like cold atmosphere, this very like interesting like I want to be there but I don't want to be there kind of feeling.
I found it at a very lethargic pace, and I was kind of analyzing him. Like everything takes place in super long takes, very straightforward like camera work too. It just sort of sits there and has these characters interact when they're go somewhere.
They're in the zone. They got to find the zone.
Yeah, and you can't step on certain things, or else you'll die or something.
It's very bizarre. There's that one striking shot of like when they're sitting in the tunnel and it's like raining and like
the all of a
foreground,
sudden like a fountain of water just falls down on them.
It looks like there's like snow almost on the ground, but it's like
that's
not.
ash.
It's ash, yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel bad when I think about this movie because like they filmed it in like a radioactive environment.
Is that true?
Yeah, no, mostly everyone on the set got sick from that film.
Oh shit!
Including the director.
Was it near Chernobyl?
I don't know about Chernobyl, but just like near a power plant. That's why that shot in the mud with that creature that's swimming around in water.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a mutant.
Wow.
Yeah. So no, that's the thing. Like it's a very daring work, and that last shot always sticks with me. The girl with the mind ability.
Yeah.
With the cup, it's like, man, nowadays people just do that all the time. But now you look at it here, it's like, oh, it's so straightforward, but so effective in its simplicity.
It doesn't glamorize the fantasy element too much. It's very subtle. It's very subdued.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
You always feel like there's real tension of them being in there.
100%.
In that environment.
Yeah. The zone. I was like, I don't want to go to the zone. I want to go to YTV's The Zone. I'd rather be there. I have to bring it back.
Yeah, what's your other Russian film, Cody?
Probably the most depressing movie I've ever seen in my entire life. I saw this a few months ago, and I cannot stop thinking about it, actually. This is an excellent fucking movie. It's my second Russian film. Come and see.
Yeah.
Can I just put it to you bluntly? This makes Schindler's List or Saving Private Ryan look like a fucking Disney film.
Is that gruesome, huh?
It is. It's gruesome. It's just the definition of gruesome. This is about a boy that like finds a rifle and like just says, "Oh, I'm just gonna join this army." Like obliviously have no idea what's going on, and the whole movie is from the perspective of a child experiencing the horrors of World War II during when the Soviet Union was trying to defend themselves against the Russians. It was, or not sorry, that didn't make any sense. Sorry, when the Soviet Union, the Russians were trying to defend themselves against Germany coming in, all the Nazis coming in, because the dozens of villages that they burned, just putting everybody in the barn. No, I can't. It is literally a nightmare. It is a living fucking nightmare. This movie. I'm surprised nobody had any PTSD. Like it's very well shot for its time. The Steadicam work in this is incredible. It is so bleak and so depressing and so horrific.
Okay.
I recommend it, but you're not gonna feel good. It's one of
mean.
these things where
It's like Bicycle Thieves. It's like you're gonna come out of it feeling really low afterwards.
Oh, unbelievably low, but it's so strong in its visual storytelling and its sound design, dude. Oh my god, its sound design is incredible for its time. I watched it on Criterion, and apparently it took years for this movie to get actually like approved by like Russia to make it, and a lot of like trying to like get it passed with lawsuits and all that, and like try to restore it in the proper way. I recommended getting on the Criterion Blu-ray. Yeah, I can't stop thinking about it.
How old is it?
1985.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 1985. It's very depressing.
Okay, I get it.
It's horrifying.
It's not easy to watch.
Animal cruelty, fucking a cow. Like there's a shot, and it's burned into my memory for the rest of my life now involving a cow. I can't. Big deep breath.
Do you want to talk about some action movies?
Please.
Okay.
Please.
Let's talk about the Raid films from Indonesia.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
The Raid 2 specifically is fucking excellent.
Great sequel. But yeah, the Raid is like, if you ever seen Dread, it's a very similar concept where like this task force breaks into this building, this apartment complex that has nothing but criminals in it. That's where they hide out, and first they think, oh yeah, we're gonna take it down. We're gonna bring them down to justice. But then mostly everyone gets butchered alive from this because they were ready for them. And so only a small few of them are still around, still trying to survive, still trying to like barrel through constant opposition just to get to the kingpin of it all. It's a really great like layer cake of like great action sequences. They're very well performed and very well choreographed. You feel every blow, and some really nice character stuff as well. I say it's so silly in such a silly way, but it's true. And then Raid 2 takes all that and just brings it even wider.
So much enjoyable though. This is a great sequel. This is one of the best sequels ever made.
I agree, because the first one's kind of simplistic. It's like, they gotta survive in this building, but this one, it's like the characters are evolving. There's like a giant fight scene in like a bathroom, and then another one on top of a car. I think.
The kitchen fight scene was excellent.
Yeah. Oh, and those two I should say those assassins, the one with the bat and the one with the hammer.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Raid 2, Mad Max Fury Road, and Mission Impossible Fallout are like the three best action films that have come out in the past decade.
Oh yes, I agree.
Like those are like hallmark, like excellent fucking action films.
Yeah. Did you ever see like the behind the scenes of how they filmed that bathroom sequence? And
No.
like the walls were detached so the camera could move with the wall, so that when they're fighting, like they can keep like the action from being too static. Yeah, it's interesting. I would love to see like how they shot some of this stuff, because it doesn't feel fake at all. Like I feel every single blow. The sound design is like really like it gets under your skin, especially like when a hammer pierces through flesh or something. It was great. I haven't seen these in quite some time. I should revisit them. But another country I'd like to cover now is Korea.
Oh well.
What would you rather, Korea or China?
Let's do China.
Okay,
first,
and end off on Korea. Like how many more countries do you have?
I only have two more, but one in each of those ones actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about China.
All right, I don't have any Chinese ones, but actually.
Oh, really?
No.
You don't have Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
I really liked it, but I don't know.
I like the action sequences.
I really liked it. I thought it was a very great, like, mythical kind of tale. Really great stunt work, and the costume design, and just the production design. Everything looks very nice. Nothing about it really clicked with me, like, emotionally.
I enjoyed the performances of Chow Yun-fat and Michelle Yeoh. I like them a lot, and the girl who doesn't want to be like put in a box, and just wants to be an individual. That was kind of like touching stuff. What about Kung Fu Hustle?
Kung Fu Hustle.
Have you seen Kung Fu
I
Hustle?
haven't yet. I know Stephen Chow. I know Stephen Chow. I wanted to watch
Oh my God.
Shaolin Soccer. What's that one called?
Shaolin Soccer.
Shaolin Soccer. I've been wanting to watch these.
I haven't seen them. Oh
I
my
want to
God.
watch these. These sound so funny.
Okay, yes. That's the thing I love about foreign cinema. Like, sometimes you watch a movie that's so out of left field, that's so over the top, it's glorious.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Kung Fu Hustle to a T. I guess I can't really get into it, but yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite Chinese films. And then, have you seen any Jackie Chan pictures?
Police Story.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Police Story is pretty solid, actually.
I saw this one with Veronica. I saw The Legend of Drunken Master, which is about him. He has a drunken style, which is basically he's like almost like the Hulk when he drinks, and he's almost undefeatable. The problem is because he's an alcoholic, it really puts a strain on his relationships. So there's an emotional angle too, as well as like this evil company that's kind of keeping this village down, and he has to like liberate them, I guess. So there's that. That was a fun one. I should watch more Jackie Chan films. Like he is a tremendous performer,
100%.
especially in his prime.
Yeah.
Okay. So where's some other countries you have? Because I only have one more now.
I got So just two more. For Brazil.
Yep.
I got a Brazilian film. It goes without saying, it's an incredible film, City of God.
Oh yes, that one. I think that is pretty much the Brazilian film.
It is.
When you think of Brazil, you think of City of God.
When I hear people say like, "Oh, Slumdog Millionaire, it's so great," I go, No. You need to watch City of God, because that's the slum movie.
Yes.
Oh my God.
That opening sequence, the way it's edited.
The editing in this movie is phenomenal.
It's like weed whacker editing, like so tight.
I love the kind of, it just tells it out of order, like almost like a Tarantino film. Just the story of this photographer, like it's excellent.
Oh yeah, because it goes through like 3 separate generations of criminals.
Definitely, I should have watched some of these before. I haven't seen this one in years, but I do remember like the techniques that it stuck with me the most. It just has like this frantic pace to it, and just like the editing. And like the creativity, like it just has very strong natural sunlight kind of like aesthetics to it.
Yeah.
You can feel the smog and the kind of
heat. And
the
all
heat.
That.
It's just it's lived in. It doesn't feel phony. It's just it's so authentic, and it's just
nice dramatic moments too. I'll never forget the one where the guy, he just finds a boy on the street and the boy ends up killing him.
Yep.
And they go through an entire flashback as to why the boy did that to begin with. Because it's like, well, that seems like unlike a child. And it's like, no. Everyone's driven by revenge in this country.
Yep. That's another. Do you have no Brazil in
no, unfortunately. But
That's okay.
I think I know what your last one's going to be. Because I wouldn't mind talking about Korea. So.
Well, we're leading up to that. But just one more.
Okay.
That's in another country. We got a Sweden film.
Oh, Swedish. Nice.
Swedish film, yes. Let the Right One In.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is a vampire movie. This is Twilight, but good.
Okay.
It's a love story between him and like basically a vampire and like human kind of dynamic.
Okay.
And it's very subtle. It's very kind of like just a very like intimate kind of film. Like it's just all kind of relationship. The vampire stuff is very like almost like a backdrop.
Yeah, how gory is it?
Not too much. There's a lot of implications more than anything. Really.
Oh, I like that too.
Yeah, like it's subtle. Like it's way more subtle than you would think. People probably have more seen the remake Let Me In.
That one.
It's fine. I don't hate it. It's not bad. It's pretty well adapted. It gets to like it. It doesn't make any changes for the worst, but it also doesn't do anything like to improve off of the other one. It just tells it again.
Kind of like spinning the wheels.
It's just a retelling of something more than a remake.
Way to go, Matt Reeves. I don't know what is with you and vampires and later on bats, but
yeah, true.
Monkeys.
Yeah, dude. Okay. We've stalled enough. Let's go to my personal favorite country of cinema is South Korean filmmaking.
Oh my God, yeah.
South Korea, just please. You guys know what you're doing. Please keep going.
Stepping up each and every year.
Jesus. I mean, you take it away, but I got some gems, but just please take it away.
How many do you have?
I got one filmmaker, like a filmography. I'll talk about 2 films, but I have other ones by 2 other filmmakers.
Okay, let me just quickly look. I'm trying to find it. Okay. Have you seen Train to Busan?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yes.
This is an excellent zombie movie.
Yeah.
Well, not excellent. It's just a very solid, fun ride.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do anything too above and beyond the Call of Duty when it comes to zombie films, but
No.
it's just so ferocious.
You actually care about the characters.
Care about the characters.
They learn the rules of the zombies right away, like about the when they go into the tunnel, and then it's like, oh, we can now hide, and now we can't be in the light.
When they're when you're visible, it's like you're done, so you have to be constantly in the dark.
That businessman, I fucking hate him.
Which one?
The one
the dad or
the selfish guy, the rich guy?
Oh, the guy who gets basically half the crew killed.
He is the worst. One of my most hated characters I've seen in any movie ever. Oh my god, he got the worst. He's the real villain of the fucking movie. Oh my god.
Oh, the way the zombies move too, like they're fast, but they're also like indifferent to pain. So like they can like latch onto a train and become an anchor, like a human anchor.
Yeah. Which
is nearly impossible for humans to do. So it's just like there's a lot of inspired bits throughout, and the relationship with the father and the daughter. The father's too wrapped up in his work to really appreciate the life he has with his family.
See, it's a zombie movie where you care about the characters. They do a good job at fleshing them out, just enough to care about them, and it's very unpredictable who's gonna die, who's gonna live. Like I like this one a lot actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you seen I Saw the Devil?
No.
Dude.
Dude.
I recommend this to you.
Okay.
This is you will love. This is one of my favorite revenge flicks. This is a very interesting revenge flick.
Ooh, you
where
want to talk revenge flicks?
Yeah, he keeps the person that he's wanting to get revenge on alive, but just wants to make him suffer more and more. Like make you live your life. Like, okay, I'll just do this horrible thing to you, but you can go about your day, and I'll leave, and I'll find you again. Do something more horrendous to you. He's basically just toying with his victim, but it's so well shot. It's so tense. It has like these and then it takes a turn when it's like, oh, now the person getting getting the victim essentially is getting the upper hand on the guy getting revenge, and there's just like, oh my god, like, it gets stressful. It gets kind of like soft and like
great.
It's great. It's really well done. I love this one.
Speaking of revenge films, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Oldboy.
Oldboy. Oh my god, this is excellent.
Oldboy, more like old my boy.
Park Chan-wook. Have you seen The Handmaiden?
No, I have not.
It's pretty solid. Not as great as Oldboy, but Oldboy is just, my god.
Yeah.
That's another ending. Like, holy fuck, your mind just blows up. Like,
yeah. Probably one of the most frank movies about I've ever seen.
I don't know if I want to cut that out, but like that's a spoiler. I don't know.
Sorry.
Maybe I don't know.
Okay, yeah, cut that out if you want.
Yeah.
But basically, probably one of the most like well shot, well executed like revenge films ever.
Yeah,
like truly.
Oh, absolutely. That hallway scene, dude.
Yeah, with the guy just has nothing but a hammer.
Oh my god.
And he doesn't even feel anything afterwards. He's just like, I gotta keep going.
Spike Lee, why?
Yeah.
I didn't even see it, but why?
I saw YMS's review, and you know the hammer scene that he did? It looked like a video game. You see Josh Brolin just kind of cracks his neck, and the guys come in. It's like, player, fight! And it literally looks so fake. And I'm like, oh, damn it. Maybe he was just hired to do it. I don't know how passionate. He didn't look very into it.
The main guy in Oldboy, he just like relishes in this performance.
Old Dai Soo, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, so many clever ideas put into that film, like on a presentation.
He's in
level.
I Saw the Devil as well. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I haven't seen this guy in much, so I would definitely. I'm putting this on my list.
Yeah. Well, my favorite foreign filmmaker is Bong Joon-ho.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
This is a good note to end on.
Every fucking film he makes is so fucking great.
Film.
I mean, have you seen Memories of Japan?
Memories
of Murder.
Memories of Murder.
Memories of Japan is a restaurant in Toronto.
Actually, no, he didn't.
Memories of
It's
Murder.
funny you say Japan because he did make a movie called Tokyo.
Yes, I haven't seen that.
I've seen it. It's not very good. It's just an anthology film with Michel Gondry, another director. And it's just like you have these French directors making movies about like people living in Tokyo. And Bong Joon-ho is the only one who... Bong Joon-ho.
Bong Joon-ho.
Is the only one that feels kind of more genuine as a result. Because Michel Gondry's like, oh, what if a woman turned into a chair? And it's just like, alright, dude. But Bong Joon-ho is literally making a movie, or a short film about, like, a guy who doesn't like going out. He's agoraphobic, which is apparently an epidemic in these countries where it's like kids just, like, stay in their house and they don't work, they don't do anything.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, so he touches on that. I'm like, okay, that's something I didn't know about. So
a theme in all of his films, and like we were talking about it when we did Metropolis, but classism is just a big theme in all of his films. Like it has so many layers. It has so many, like, I mean, Okja.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I mean, I know Okja and Snowpiercer are like kind of like the American, you know, kind of like
they're English speaking.
English speaking, yeah. But like Memories of Murder and have you seen Mother?
Not yet.
Oh, dude, these are both excellent films. Like, these are great crime dramas.
It's funny you mentioned Okja. I always say Okja is like, if you ever wonder how Paul Dano would play the Riddler, just watch Okja.
Oh, Paul Dano?
Yeah, he's in Okja.
Oh, that's right, he is, actually.
He's the eco-terrorist.
It's funny, Pat said after Jake Gyllenhaal's performance in Okja, he said if they'd ever remake Ace Ventura, please cast Jake Gyllenhaal. He would nail it. He said after watching his performance.
He can be a funny guy.
Mother, oh my god. It's like, don't watch it. Don't watch this, like, if you're, like, thinking, like, oh, this is going to be, like, a sweet little movie, you know, about, like, a relationship between a mother and their child. This is not at all. This is the like, dynamic story. It's so brutal. But Memories of Murder, you said you haven't seen this one.
I have not seen this one yet.
This one is kind of like this multi-layered investigation of just, like, it's basically the dynamic between the younger and older detective. It's the same actor from it's Song Kang-ho.
I love him so much as an actor.
He's obviously a regular for Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, he was in The Host.
Yeah. Oh, The Host. Oh, The Host is not a bad monster movie,
all right.
actually.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I was expecting it to be more like gruesome for some reason.
Yeah, but no, it's really heartfelt because they just want to find his missing daughter who's been kidnapped by this thing. Shall we go into it?
We stalled enough. You know, I normally don't say, like, it's hard for me to be like, oh, I have a definitive favorite film or whatever, like, the past decade. Like, I know I mentioned before in some way, like, I thought Birdman was, like, my favorite movie of the past, like, decade or whatever.
Yeah.
But, dude, I don't know. I can just softly say that Parasite is today's modern masterpiece.
Modern.
This is a perfect fucking
film.
It's really good. It's a perfect fucking film.
You're not the first one to say so, and I agree.
Oh my god. Everything about it. The acting. The dark comedy behind it all. The classism. The dynamics between just, like, I've never laughed so hard but been on the edge of my seat of riveting of, like, where is this fucking story going? Like, did you know that they had to fucking build that house?
They built that whole house.
They built that whole house because they could not find a house that matched the geography of, like, how this house should be. They had to build this house from scratch to match the vision of Bong Joon-ho.
Wow. Like, it's like Wachowski levels when they built a whole highway just to get that chase scene down.
Yeah.
In Matrix Reloaded. Wow, I didn't know that house. I didn't know it was a set. That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, they built that whole house from scratch.
Do you think it's for sale now?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah,
it'd be so awkward too. Like, going to the cellar and just think, oh, yeah, some shit went down here. Oh.
We gotta push those jars. And then there's another thing down there.
So does the guy lifting his head in the stairway, looking at the girl? Does that image, the guy? Does
the young boy?
Or the young boy? Sorry. Does that image just haunt you for the rest of your life?
Not as much as being chased upstairs by him.
Oh man!
I guess the only part of the movie, like, I was kind of like, how did he survive that?
The blunts to the head were a bit much.
Like, that was the only part where I'm like, I don't think you can survive that kind of thing.
You never know. People have been shot in the face and they still survive.
Okay,
I don't know.
I guess.
I mean, you never know. Yeah.
What's your favorite sequence in this film? Because I know mine.
I know yours. Is it the peach?
The peach.
The
sequence.
peach. Yeah. The peach is great.
Just a perfect. Every cog of that scene works perfectly.
You know, I don't have a favorite moment.
Really?
Well, the whole film is so fucking excellent. I love the.
It's just one solid.
The point.
2 hour experience.
The points that do stand out to me the most of, like, oh my god, was, like, there's someone in the cellar, and we follow the poor mother just racing down the stairs. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that moment where I just remember thinking, I'm like, oh my god, where the hell is this going? Or just like the poor father hiding underneath the sofa.
While the two are having sex.
Yeah.
And he's just like.
Yeah, when they're being like stealthy and like it's interesting to see how much like the poor family was helping out the rich family to some extent, but like the rich family still has like their faults and like they're not perfect.
I just love how they like one by one got each other a job at this house.
They have to pretend to not know each other. It's great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The daughter's the tutor to the son who has like a condition.
Yeah, because of the experience he had.
The son is
a math tutor.
No,
an English tutor, sorry.
The father's the driver.
And the mother's the housemaid, I guess.
Yeah. Oh my god. I've seen this like 3 or 4 times now. It's just like every time I watch it, it's always just like my god, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, Veronica got me the Criterion edition for a half birthday present.
Nice.
Oh, I love you.
I mean, I can only gush so much, but like this is a favorite of mine, like a really high favorite of mine.
Yeah.
This is a masterpiece. This is a perfect movie. If you want to talk about that, I know you asked like what's perfect. Parasite is just incredible.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I hear he's gonna make a sequel.
I heard something also about a remake or a televisionized show about it or something. I don't know.
A television show might work. You don't remake it. How are you gonna make this better than it already is? But like a sequel, I'm just curious what that'd be. I guess it'd just be like the son trying to like get back to the house and kind of form his own business. Maybe create an empire or something like a business empire to kind of rival that, earn enough money to buy the house or something. Yeah. That's the only way, and you would encounter more sketchy people that he has to confront and like overpower mentally, I guess. But I don't know. The daughter was the smartest one of the bunch.
Oh, 100%.
She's gone.
Yeah, I know this one fun fact. It's kind of like an in joke for people in South Korea, where the father, I said his name just a second ago. Sung Kang-ho, like he's a professionally trained actor, right? And that moment where he's trying to rehearse and practice his lines, and the son was like, "Father, you need to like go from up here to down here. You need to It's funny. It's an in joke because that's the son, the actor who plays the son, is a newcomer. So it's funny to see like a newcomer giving like a professional advice about how to act.
The son was trained at Busan. Did you know that?
Was he?
Yeah, he was the kid with the baseball cap. He was one of the baseball players.
He had the girlfriend with him.
Yeah, he had a girlfriend with him.
That's right. That was him. Holy
shit. It's
shit.
all coming together.
Everything comes together. South Korea, my god, they make some intense fucking cinema. Yeah. Like, unbelievably good.
Oh, that was great. I feel like I have 2 I didn't mention. I'll just quickly shout out.
Yeah.
Battle Royale. I love that movie. I think it's so much better than The Hunger Games.
Oh, way better.
And Mother. I can't believe I didn't mention that. That was a French-Canadian film by Xavier Dolan.
Oh, okay.
Of all the French-Canadian films I mentioned Les Salopes and not Mother. Oh, my God.
Well, I was going to say there's a Mother Bong Joon-ho as well.
I know. There's too many movies named Mother.
Have you seen The Skin I Live In?
No.
Oh, dude, that's another one that has a lot of twists and turns. It's disturbing where it goes. It's very darkly comedic. It's a Spanish film.
Okay.
Portuguese. Well, no, sorry, Spanish, but there's Portuguese in it as well. It's like a half thing, but it's a Spanish-made film. It's with Antonio Banderas.
Okay.
Yeah. This is another one we got to kind of go in cold, essentially.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's kind of like one article mentioning. But to end this all off, because we are great on time, yay for Cody! Oh my god, it's so short. These podcasts lately, I love it.
Yeah, we're not going on for like 4 hours.
Do you have anything else you want to say? Because I have one more film that's perfect to cap this off.
Is it recent?
Fairly.
Okay, because there's
10 years ago, I think.
Okay, because there's this foreign film that I really want to see. It comes from India. It's called RRR.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay, it's like this colonial action film where you have 2 people who become best friends, but they each have a goal that conflicts with the other, and they're like friends, but then they become enemies. It's it's 3 hours long, and it's very much like Kung Fu Hustle, in which the action is just absolutely breathtakingly insane.
RRR.
It's RRR. I don't know what it stands for, but yeah, it's getting a huge amount of universal acclaim right now. It's on Netflix. Evan and I were gonna watch it on the road trip, but like we just didn't have time to spend 3 hours watching a movie. You know, that's the one. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's really highly rated, actually.
Oh yeah, everyone loves it. And
someone who I will follow is giving it 5. Wow.
I need to see it.
Sweet. Okay.
I just need to put in time, which I don't have very much of right now.
It's on Netflix?
Yes.
Okay.
For now, yes. What's your last one that you're gonna mention?
Well, do you want to see? This is one of the most unique films I've ever seen. It's a cross between. It's a documentary. It's a documentary. It's a documentary. It's a documentary.
It's a
documentary.
Okay.
It's a documentary. But if you're gonna ask what the subject is, I go, life, the world.
Okay.
Do you want to see a movie that covers the countries Brazil, China, Denmark, Egypt, Ethiopia, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Jordan, South Korea, Thailand, and the USA?
Okay.
I'm talking about Samsara.
What's that?
Samsara is a film that came out in 2011. It is, without a doubt, the most gorgeous looking documentary I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's a film that Kathy and Pat actually recommended to me. Kathy is not really, like, she watches movies, but she raved about this with Pat. She says this is so, as she put it, aesthetically pleasing. Pat says you look through the souls of people watching this film. It has this great ambient tone, this beautiful aesthetic. You just globetrot around the world, exploring these different cultures, these different lifestyles. There's these moments where people are just staring right into the lens, as it kind of just tracks in on their eyes and on their face. You feel like this intimacy with them. Like I was like, okay, I'll watch this with you guys. I felt exactly the same way that these guys did.
Wow.
Like, it was one of the most unique documentaries. And I'd say, literally, guys, like, I recommend this fucking doc to everybody.
It kind of reminds me of Koyane Kwatsi, which is this experimental film that just has a lot of, like, time-lapse footage set to Philip Glass music. Kind of reminds me of that a little bit. That's an American film, so I can't talk about it.
And it's all silent. There's really not that much talking in it. It's visual. Just
how long is it? If you say it's 6 hours, I'm gonna shoot you to death.
No, it's not. It's not like a big epic or something like that. Samsara. It is an hour and 42.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That's not bad. Yeah,
it's not bad at all.
The music, it's on Tubi. If you have okay, yeah,
Tubi.
Yeah. I can't think of a better one to end off than that, because like that's the world. It documents the world in a very beautiful way.
Are there any other foreign films that you haven't seen yet that you'd like to see?
I mentioned them, yeah. Like Pat and I've just been holding off on wanting to see Amaris Peros, which is Alejandro G. Inarritu's first movie.
Oh, nice.
The guy that did Birdman and The Revenant.
Yeah, there's some Guillermo del Toro movies I should see, like Mimic, like before.
I've seen Mimic. That's a good one.
Before he like became like mainstream.
Yep. Yeah.
I also really would like to see Jacques Tati's work. He's a French visual comedian who is very much like Mr. Bean or something like that. Like before Mr. Bean, like just these visual gags sprinkled throughout the film, and they're always like visually like rich.
Yeah.
That I hear, and I should get into him actually.
There's like. Yeah, I mentioned Yitu Mama Tapion, but like, I have to. We're not sponsored by Letterboxd by any means, but it's a glowing recommendation for film buffs, because like I can just filter out like most popular or most critically acclaimed of stuff I have not watched, and I just end up discovering so much more movies than are just released out of Hollywood or whatever, because they're more accessible. I get it. We're in Canada. Like, Hollywood is more accessible to watch these films, but like there's just way more fucking great more films out there.
There's nothing stopping you really, like if you want to see more. Like I have Bay Street Video just down by like Bay Street. I go there all the time to find as much stuff as I can. Yep. So I'm gonna go there soon and find some of these. Give them a looky-loo. Except for me, come and see. I don't know if I'm prepared for that one. You're building it up to be a very uncomfortable experience.
It is. It's terrible.
in a good way.
It's absolutely terrible.
It's a terrible masterpiece.
But in a good way. Wow, Lyle, that was great. We just went around the world in an hour and 40 minutes.
Boy, are my arms tired.
Around the world in an hour and 40. Foreign films. I was about to say, it sounds like porn films.
Porn films. Well, that's what Les Salopes was.
Imagine making a porn tier list.
What, like category?
S
like...
for sexy.
Too hot for YouTube. Join our Patreon and watch our
explicit ones,
so to speak, after dark.
I love it.
Dark soda.
Well, dude, no, thank you. This was awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm glad it was. We recommended a lot of good things to each other and talked about some excellent works of art.
You're gonna have to refresh my memory on some of these recommendations, but please.
Delicatessen.
That's the Mikhail Hanukkah one. Oh no, sorry, the one that the Amelie guy did.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet, yes.
That's the one that I wanna see the most, okay, actually.
And I need to see some more Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everyone.
Hey, I do that.
Oh yeah, this isn't so sweet. This is pop talk.
You're used to it. Thank you all from around the world listening to this podcast. And hey, do you see that little thing there that says subscribe? Mm-hmm. Go touch it with your mouse. There you go. Give it a nice little touch.
There's a little text box, and you can tell us some of the things you like to watch.
There's some what are foreign films that we missed out on to mention? Please comment below. Give a nice little like and dislike if you want. I don't know. I don't want to dictate.
Around the world, around the world.
I mean that song is very hard to memorize its lyrics. I must say. Thank you all for listening to Pop Talk and subscribe to So to Speak. I will see you on the next one.